cuter than her though. I mean, she was always much cuter than him.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Larry.
His smile was big and hers was just. So did you get your honeydew this year?
Are you here on the side of the diet? So I mean, you just open it like you normally do, and then it'll be, we're gonna, after the council, if council wants to make comments at that point, they can, but you'll just ask for a motion to adjourn, sign and die. So move, and then you'll basically adjourn, and then the clerk will do oaths of office for you and everybody that just got elected. And then clerk will basically make an announcement, then you open the meeting like you normally would, and then the first thing on the agenda will be doing the pro temp.
I don't.
Well,
Oh, you're the keeper of all the full envelopes. All right, I get it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Big
Did you?
He had to, at least you're holding on to him. That's what I felt guilty.
It says that you present the council to the mayor and say, Ms. Mayor. Here's the new.
Like every 2 years we do this. We never remember how the sin
I
died
know.
is.
And then the mayor would call you your.
Evening.
How it's supposed to, I guess hypothetically.
You're loaded up.
Right, so we do have more, we'll go ahead and call our study session of order at 6:31 p.m. We can all stand and the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also, I make sure that our microphones are on. City Clerk Domingo, if you take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams,
Present.
Reed, Jackson,
Here.
Lawler, Davis,
Present.
French,
Here.
and Mayor Snyder.
Here. So our study session is just to go over items that'll be on the regular council meeting agenda. First item is to approve first reading of our rental registration. So in your packet, you had the full.
Got a new one.
So did we have any questions in regards to our rental certification? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so just so council's aware, this is 99% the exact same ordinance you saw last time. There's just a couple of minor changes. Since our last meeting, our code enforcement company, Mr. Glenn Lindsay, who is part of that, asked us to just modify the definition of tenant. It's on page 5. It's listed as HH. Just wanted us to add that, so that's how it now reads. The only other substantive change that we made is just for purposes of clarity on page 12 at the very bottom. We added that a violation is a civil infraction. And then lastly, on the final page, page 13, we added the standard language that we had for all ordinances saying that it's severable, that other ordinances in conflict are repealed. And then I changed the effective date and I set it out a little bit to give the administration time to develop the applications to go along with this ordinance and any other paperwork that might need to get set up in anticipation of taking applications once the ordinance becomes effective. But otherwise, it's completely the same.
Councilwoman Reed?
Does this have anything that says anything about not only the housing and what should be fixed there, but the outside appearance?
So. Yes, but not really directly through this ordinance, only that the inspections that will be conducted by this ordinance are inspecting to the standard of the International Property Maintenance Code, which does consider inside and outward properties. This isn't something to do with like trash in yards, but we already have an ordinance
Okay,
for that.
that's what I was wondering.
Any other, yeah, Councilman Williams?
Yep, so with that change in HH, the people who are under land contract, they basically fall under the renters.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And so the only other thing I'll add is because, I'm actually surprised we haven't had more turnout from landlords. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll be here at the 7 o'clock meeting. Knock on wood, I won't look a gift person out.
I am getting.
In the event that you do get questions from constituents, what I would tell people is this: the standards in terms of maintaining individual properties is not changing. That we already have ordinances on the books that regulate that. The only thing that this ordinance does really is it sets up a system for us to go in and A, know what properties are rentals, and B, inspecting them regularly to ensure that they are, meeting those standards that are already in place. So that way you kind of minimize the whole concept of having, I hate to use the term, like hovel or slum, but you make sure that if people are going to rent their property, they're doing it in a way so that the property is well kept for these tenants.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes, will there be some form of maybe workshop for landlords or some kind of explanation to go over this to make sure they understand what it means before March, is it March 31st?
Yeah, March 31st, April 1st.
Yes,
So a workshop, we could hold something.
and
Like that.
offer, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that they're going to come.
No, of course.
An offer to identify and really explain minimal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think in our administration of this going forward, which is that lead up time that city attorney referred to. Part of that will be at least one round of letters, though I suspect 2 or 3.
Okay.
It'll take some work to make sure that we're getting everyone with those. Like we said, it's 42% of properties in the city are rentals. Tracking down the owners will be a bit of a task, though not one I think that we'll struggle with. It'll just take some time. I'd be more than willing to post something along those lines. I guess I do have some hesitancy about getting all the landlords and me in the same spot together now, but I'd be more than happy to. I'd be more than happy to lead that. Since the last meeting, we do have the International Property Maintenance Code on the city website, as well as I've got the most up-to-date kind of resource document from the state. And I want to stress that it's typically when they put together things like this, it's not law, it's just the state taking their current laws and trying to distill that into an output document that folks can read. So I've got a tenant landlord rights document from the state of Michigan dated October of 2021. I've got the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code, and those are I don't know that the landlord tenant rights thing is available on our website. It's kind of a large document and ultimately the International Property Maintenance Code is, I think, going to be more broadly useful for folks.
Could you send us out a couple bullet points like Cullen had just reviewed of what's entailed inside of this?
Sure.
Because when I sent my newsletter, I did inform them what was going to take place today and advise them to be here. The thing that I dislike is now that I'm go different places and they say, I got something to tell to you about.
Yeah.
And they tell me, us in the water rates, you know, you guys didn't talk to us. I say, yes, we did. We sent stuff out. But if we can be a little proactive on our ends too, sending some stuff out to our precincts to help them, maybe they'll pass the word out and help. Because we do need to still send some things out on water bills and everything, because I told them, I was like, well, don't feel bad. I said, mine was like $20 because something was wrong. So, but anyway.
But I see what you're asking.
Yeah,
It's
just
a little bulleted list that
Yeah.
condenses it from our 12 page.
Correct, so that we can be consistent and we all doing the same thing, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's how I follow what Haley puts out. As far as her city manager report, so people can see the same thing if they were to look on the website, if they do or don't, how to get it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll make sure that happens.
Is there anything in here that states what happens if landlords are non-compliant to the ordinance?
Yes. It's that second to last page, on page 12 there at the bottom, it's a civil infraction. What we're gonna do, that we'll do through a separate ordinance is section 1-26 of our existing ordinance set forth a schedule of fines for civil infractions. What we'll do through a separate ordinance is set up probably a first, second, and third offense scenario, you know, like first offense, $100, second offense, $250, and then probably third offense, 500, something along those lines. But we'll bring it to you for discussion and we can do subsequent reading approval and have that in effect before this new one
Okay.
goes into
Yeah.
effect. So,
Because I didn't see that kind of spelled out here.
Right.
yeah.
I know you were also talking about, well, I was thinking that if you put some bullet point things together, if you have a meeting, so that when they look online, they know what to look for if they've got a question about something. Put that together that they can have to look at, because like I said, some of those things are really, really thick. And they're not gonna run them all off, but at least we'll give them some idea of where to refer back to or what they're looking for. So then that keeps them from getting upset about nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of the cities that we've looked at that have adopted this have a pretty, I guess I would say, welcoming page.
Yeah.
For landlords and tenants that kind of explains this. So I'd be more than happy to, I'll pick from the best of those and make it work for us.
Yep.
The only thing I would also add is your question actually brought up something I was thinking about. So failing to comply with this particular ordinance would be a civil infraction, but you know, it references the property maintenance code. So if any property owner or a landlord, just like any other property owner, were to have something significant wrong with the property, like a collapsing roof or vermin infestation, that wouldn't preclude the city from taking any other action like red tagging the property, you know, boarding it up. Some of those offenses under the property maintenance code are actually misdemeanors. It just depends on how severe it is. So important to keep in mind that this is just getting the property registered and complying with that aspect of it, but there's still that whole code compliance aspect to it too.
Do we have any other? Yeah, Councilman Williams.
Thank you. The fee schedules. Are we going to vote on those later?
Yes, so you will just do that by resolution anytime between now and March 1st.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any questions for Director Arnold or our attorneys? All right, thank you for the explanation.
If I can just, before I head off here, I know we've looked at rental certification a couple times. I'm very glad. It looks like we're going to be able to finally put it on the books. I'm more than happy to explain anything if you want to set up a meeting with me and residents that are confused about this, worried about it. I'm more than happy to do that. My priority is to get this working. Because I think it would be for the benefit of the city, but I'll make sure everyone understands it along the way. So thank you.
Good. The July meeting dates. So I noticed that when we had the 2023 dates, that our first July meeting would fall on July 3rd, which we all know that is our community's 4th of July celebration evening. I doubt many people would want to come to a council meeting if they had the desire. Luckily for us, there are 5 Mondays in July. So we can just move both of the dates that are currently listed back 1 week and still have a week in between before the August date. So we would just need to have a vote during regular council to get those adjusted rates approved. Anybody have any questions on that?
I think it's an excellent idea.
Because I, when I was writing down all of my dates on the calendar, I'm like, you know, probably not gonna work over too well.
I looked at it, it didn't seem like it's a problem.
All right, the next is a resolution to approve the MDR Spark grant application for McIntosh Park. That is on your desktop. It's not in the electronic package. I'll give you all a moment to kind of read this through before we discuss. Do we, yep, Councilman French?
I assume we'll have someone tell us exactly what phase 2 looks like.
Yes, I can provide a little bit of information. The delay in getting this, it wasn't the reason why it wasn't in the electronic packet. The Whiteman and Associates, they were finalizing that design and determining the grant amount that we will be seeking. So phase 2 will include a new walking trail around the perimeter of McIntosh Park, a new parking lot, lighting, new shrubbery, bushes, and other benches, trash bins, and barbecue pits. We are looking to request the max amount for $1 million. So this is, just want to remind everyone, this is just the first phase of this Spark grant. They will have a second round here in the springtime, and we're looking to apply to seek funding for the Stouffer Plaza master plan, the DDA. They're currently working with Whiteman and Associates to develop a master site plan for that, to have renovations to our farmers market area and spruce up Stouffer Plaza. So hopefully we will be awarded grant round 1. If not, we will seek to submit another application during round 2. And we are not looking to, there are no financial obligations of the city. So we are, this grant does not require a minimum match. So we will be requesting $1 million, and that will free up some of the donation that we received through the DeNicola gift to kind of tackle some of the other projects that were identified in that part and in that blueprint for a better Albion.
Do we still have 50,000 that's set aside from that fallen apart?
Yes, that's still in there. And if we are awarded this, we hope may have additional funding from that gift to tackle more projects.
You are there cameras yet at McIntosh Park?
I believe they're in the process of being installed. I know they're in the works. They were ordering them right before I went off on leave, and
We have not received them yet, so we're having to do it.
but they will eventually be there, as well as I think we talked about Holland Park and Victory Park as well.
Any other questions in regards to the grant proposal? Great. Next would be discussion on our grant facilitations. I don't know if we want to kind of touch on that now, if we want to wait for the regular council.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can pretty much touch on it now. Okay, so in looking over so many documents that that the interim city manager had sent me, Chief Kip, I ended up coming across some RRC community information, and it said that that they provided some additional help as far as in training staff to analyze the capacity or capacity constraints that cities have. So me and the city manager, we had conversations about what basically like what that meant as far as the constraints that we have here in Albion. We know that we qualify for more grant funding than we currently receive. But not having the pieces in place, you can apply and you can get the money, but then you won't be able to disperse it. So we ended up having further discussion around that last week. And we understand that we'll probably have to do more partnering with different organizations in order to get us to where we need to be with the shortcomings we have currently in staffing, and getting back to full staff and then pursuing working towards getting these grants is definitely looking like we're going to have to partner with different organizations as much and as often as we possibly can to get some of the additional things that we need outside of just keeping the city running. But to get those additional things done, we have to look for other resources that we can utilize in order to do so. So
Yeah, partnerships are key.
yes, partnerships. They definitely are.
Funds and projects done. It's true. And then maybe last discussion item that we'll have is our leaves and easements that Councilman French had brought up previously. So I'm not sure if you want to start that conversation now or hold off until.
No, let's hold it off.
Okay. Anybody here within the public would like to stand and address council? You may do so at this time, which has 3 minutes. Have anybody else? Do you have any other comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Study session adjourned 6:51.